If 2026 is the year you want to feel calmer, richer, and more in control of your life, especially your finances, then this is the video for you. This is your starting point. You asked for it, and so I had to deliver. In today's video, we are going to be talking about your 2026 financial plan and where to start. Actionable and intentional step-by-step guidance that you are going to be able to follow from this video. If you are new to meeting me for the first time, welcome. For all those returning, welcome back. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and comment one thing that you are currently working on to become financially healthier or wiser in 2026. Some of you may be wondering, what is a financial glow up plan really? A financial glow up plan is not about looking rich. It's about sleeping well. It's about not making any decisions in panic, and also knowing that your money is working for you. I grew up in the hood with a single mom. I did not have a lot of financial advice or guidance growing up until I hit my mid 20s. In 2026, the goal is simple: fewer money worries, more confidence, more options, and it all starts with clarity. Make sure you write all of this down. Step one, it's time to face the numbers. I even did this with my fiance because I'm nosy. I need to know what is going on in both of our accounts and making sure that we are aligned. When you're doing this process, leave the shame to the side. You want to really make sure you understand and you are aware of your finances, what's coming in and what is going out. And so before changing anything, you are going to need awareness. You are going to look at your income, your expenses, your debts, your savings, and your credit score. And none of this to judge yourself, but to take control.
Need to do to get financially free in 2026 is know exactly what your incomings and outgoings are. There are a few different ways to do this, and here are the most efficient methods that I use. The first thing that you can do is take 3 months worth of bank statements, put them through an AI, and get them to analyze and tell you exactly what your expenses and income is. Once you've got that really clear picture, you can understand where your money is going and how you can better use it. After you've got that picture, the next thing that you want to do is use an app. I personally use Plum, but there are loads of other ones to pull all of your finances into one place. So it can pull in all of your savings accounts and your credit cards into one place so that you can monitor on an ongoing basis and have a really clear picture of all of your finances all of the time. Having a clear picture of this is absolutely key to financial glow up. I know some of you don't look at your credit card statements. You need to.
I want you to remember that your glow up is not just about the outside image or the aesthetics. Your glow up is also internal and just as much financial. You cannot glow up what you refuse to look at. This step alone is going to get you ahead of most people. Step number 2, build yourself a peace fund. There is no more waiting to make more money. That is when you're going to start saving. You need to start saving now. And if you were saving in the past and you fell off, it's time to get back into the habit of prioritizing your savings accounts. So before investing, before luxuries, before upgrades, you need an emergency fund. And you've heard this before. So let's make sure it becomes a priority in 2026. Honestly, ladies, you can start small by saving $20, $100, $500, $1,000. This all adds up to the bigger picture. This is going to be an account that you do not touch. I don't care if you saw something that you want or you want to go on a trip or somebody asks you last minute, hey, let's do this. It is an account that you cannot touch. This account is going to provide you with funds that are going to protect you from desperate decisions, toxic jobs, and financial anxiety. Peace in this category is the real flex. I have a friend that is currently going through a situation that was so similar to my situation at the same age of 26 years old. So, little backstory: I moved to the current province that I'm in for love. I moved 2 provinces, leaving home, leaving my job for love. And then when I was left, I could barely get by on my own. It is so important that you do have an emergency fund, especially when you are pursuing love. That way, if somebody decides to break up with you, you have money for yourself to make decisions of where and how you want to navigate. Luckily, this 26-year-old does have funds. However, she now is looking for a job before those funds run out. Guys, the emergency fund is a non negotiable, and I see that so many people would rather buy stuff instead of saving, which let's talk about the buying stuff or even using apps like Klarna, Afterpay, PayPal, a bunch of credit cards just to buy stuff. I want you to start to adapt a simple life, just simple living. You don't need everything you see. You don't need all of your cravings. You don't need to instantly purchase or buy based on your mood or your emotions. And now you're thinking logically for, I rather see money growing in my accounts. And I say accounts, I say savings, I say funds, because you don't just want to invest or put your money in one basket or one account or one bank. You want to diversify your platform. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you guys some tips, and just look and fall in love with growing your money. Whether you're going to use that money to buy you assets and see that asset give you back on your return, but the materialistic things don't add up. They don't matter, nor does the food that you're buying that's not even fueling you for energy or for the body of your dreams.
I'm going to show you how I went from saving nothing for the last 6 years to saving more than I've ever saved in 1 year. If you are going to get paid or you have been paid, follow me. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just teaching you what worked for me. First of all, you need to download Moneybox. This is not an ad. You can lock your money in there. And if you're somebody that just randomly wants to buy stuff, you can't do that because one, you can only take out one withdrawal a month, and two, you have to wait 32 days for your money to come out. A lot of impulse buying just doesn't make sense. The second thing you need to do, you need to create a plan for your money way before you get paid. Do not start creating plans the day you get paid, the day after. No, before your money lands in your account, you need to know where all of your money goes to the penny. And I promise you, I am not exaggerating. If you're an impulse spender like I used to be, or you just can't save money, it's time to get strict. Download Moneybox and you're going to plan your money. And this is how we're going to plan it. The first thing that you do when you get your money is you calculate how much you can save without it killing you. Like, please do not be saving an amount that means that you won't eat, you won't have necessities, that you can't pay your bills. And like I always say, it's better to start by saving £10 a month, which is better than zero, than trying to save 500 and then eventually not having anything saved because you're just going to take that 500 back. Save an amount that actually makes sense for you. It doesn't matter how small it is. You just need to get into that habit and build that muscle of saving, because once you do that, you'll be able to save bigger amounts and you'll go up and up and up. How much you save always comes first. So once you've taken that savings, I send it straight to Moneybox. For me not to be able to spend my savings, I just send it immediately as I'm paid into my Moneybox. That's out of sight, out of mind. The second thing is I need to know how much my bills come up to. So for some people, that's £1,000. If you have a car, maybe for some people, that's £300. Whatever it is, you need to then move your money for your bills into a separate, I would say, a separate account where all your bills come out of there. So if you don't have another account, it'd be a good idea to open it, because if you have your bill money where you usually just spend, you're just always going to dip into that money. I like to just keep things out of sight, out of mind. If you have Starling like me, they have boxes, and I literally have a box for my bills, and I literally put my money into that box, and direct debits can literally come straight out of that box. Make sure all your bills come out on the day you're paid or the day after. It gives you no time to accidentally spend it, which is something I always used to do. It gives me no excuse. I can't spend that money because it's just sitting in my account and it's gone, right? Then after you've saved your money and calculated your bills, you now need to think realistically, how much do you spend on fun? And fun could be anything. It could be drinks with your friends, it could be skating, it could be bowling, it could be going to the cinema, whatever it is, it does not matter. You need to sit down and think realistically, how much do I go out, or how much do I stay in, how much do I spend on wine? That's what I do. I have a fun budget, because if you try to just save all your money and not have a fun budget, it's not going to work. Like most of you are watching, it's never worked. So it's just not going to start working. You need to actively make a change and actually carve out some money to have fun. And if that means a little bit more money in the fun at the start and less in the savings, do that so that you can get into a habit of actually seeing where your money is going. Then I budget how much money I need for my work food. And sometimes I can add a little bit more in the budget so that once in a while I can grab a takeaway at work. But because I'm trying to save, I don't eat takeaway that much anymore. I like to keep this separate from the fun budget because it's a separate thing. I just like to make things as clear as possible. This is for fun. This is my credit card. This is my bills. At the end, I make sure that all of the categories I've mentioned to you, that all of the money has been placed in those boxes. And then what I do to make sure that I'm keeping myself on top of things, because I used to be somebody that would just go into my bill money to buy a packet of crisps, I put at the top of that box how much needs to be in that box, so that if I have borrowed from that box, I know exactly how much I'm behind by. Do not get into the habit or stay in the habit of not looking at your bank account. You need to know your bank account like the back of your hand, because you are only in control of what you know. If you do not know something, you are not in control of it. I know it's so anxiety inducing to look at your bank account, but the more you look at it, the less it scares you. Because I know what's in my bank account, I'm actually not worried about it. I'm on top of my money. I'm not just spending willy-nilly. And stop going out on benders over the weekend and spending whatever and thinking I'll deal with it on Monday. That is why you're not moving forward. The quicker you stop doing that, the more you actually start saving some money and start feeling secure and stop feeling so anxious around your money. This is already a plan that's written out in my notes. So as soon as I get paid, I'm talking immediately, I go straight to my bank account and I start putting all the money in the different boxes that it needs to go into. The quicker you handle your money, the less time you have to start impulsively spending money that you do not have. Make sure that this plan is created way before you're paid, so that when you're paid, you're just automatically moving stuff where it needs to go, and then you can start spending your money.
Which leads to step number 3, cut whatever is quietly draining you. And most people don't overspend dramatically. You're probably leaking money quietly. Subscriptions you forgot about, convenience spending, buy now, pay later. I just mentioned that. Your glow up needs to have some rules. If it does not support your higher self, your dream life, where you're looking to go, your future self, then it doesn't have access to your money. Now, let me tell you 3 things that I have spent my money on so far in 2026. I decided I'm going to not shop as much as I have done in the past. Even in 2025, I didn't buy that much clothing. I have actually gotten rid of more clothing than I have replaced it with. And I have donated clothes, I've resold clothes, I'm looking to resell some of my running shoes, and I still have not bought a ton of items for my wardrobe. I decided that I wanted to invest in skills, 1 course for my business, 1 course for me as a personal trainer. And this new course will allow me to work with another set of clients that I currently don't work with or don't promote currently right now. And then I wanted to build my skills in 2 areas. I wanted to learn how to grow food and self-defense. And so those were 2 courses that I also invested in to help level up my life. It is so important when you do get money and you're like, I want to buy this clothing item, or I want to go out, I want to buy a bunch of drinks, I want to go out for dinner, I want to do this, and the tab is going. You have to really think about, I want to spend my money, or my higher self would prefer if I spent my money on things that are going to improve my life. A lot of people cheap out on a course, on a coach, on becoming healthier, happier, hotter, wiser, financially knowledgeable. You would rather spend your money on good times or gratification or instant dopamine satisfaction than to sit through a course or sit through 3 months of personal training to get the body of your dreams, to get knowledge in different fields, to build your skills that are going to open up more opportunities for you to actually make money. So learning self-defense, if I wanted to, that could make me more money. Learning how to grow food, if I wanted to, that could help me make more money, because once you have the skill of learning how to, or knowing how to do something, you can always use that to your benefit to grow your food, sell the food, to do so much to make more money.
You need to know this. The quickest way out of poverty is to learn a new skill. Opportunity isn't given, it's created. And the only people who escape the life that they were born into are the ones who learn something valuable enough to make the world pay attention. Nobody stays broke because they're unlucky. They stay broke because they rely on hope instead of ability. Hope changes nothing. Skills change everything. Skills turn you into an asset. It makes you useful. It makes you needed. And when you're needed, you're paid. Not for your time, for your value. Poverty is a system, and systems don't break on accident. You break out by learning something that the world can't ignore. You can learn coding, sales, design, negotiation, communication. Anything that elevates your earning power will eventually elevate your life. It's like climbing a mountain. It's hard at first, slow at first, and it's frustrating. But every skill you gain, the world opens up just a little bit more. Skills are leverage. Skills are freedom. Skills are the difference between staying stuck and stepping into a life that finally makes sense. If you want out, stop wishing for a miracle and start building something that the world will pay for.
It's really important that you're using your money to enhance your life.
The more skills you have, the less you'll ever worry about money. And here's the mistake that I see everywhere. People step into a side hustle and first thought is, how much money can I make? And that mindset kills them before they even start. The focus should never be on the money at the beginning. The focus should be, how can I learn this skill so deeply and so consistently that I end up better at it? Because here's the truth, money doesn't lead, skill does.
And not from the outside image. We are not going into debt for material things or things in your home, candles, decor. Absolutely not. Cups, absolutely not. A ton of shoes, absolutely not. Bags, jewelry. Honestly, I'm so simple with my jewelry. I don't flex any watches. I don't flex much jewelry just because I'm very simple. And this would be the time to buy gold, but gold bars, not just gold jewelry, gold and silver bars, but it is time to be wiser with your money and not just spend your money on things that have no value tomorrow. Lastly, stop using these afterpay apps, buy now, pay later apps. Terrible for you, because what people don't realize is, yes, you get to pay for these things in increments, but if you have so many purchases that you have bought and you have so many tabs open or so many bills, this is just going to become a headache. So many people are just going in debt because they didn't pay off their first debt. It's important that you start to work your way down in all of the debts that you currently have instead of buying more, spending more. You have to get really good at saying, no, I cannot do this for X amount of time because these are my financial goals. This is my goal right now, and it does not align. So your spending needs to align with your goals, and accumulating more debt.
Buy now, pay later it's probably one of my number one most hated forms of debt. It's so sneaky. And by their own words, they're like, oh, we're better than credit cards because, we don't charge interest right away and it's 4 easy payments. It's that whole thing. And they've infiltrated so sneakily into everything. I mean, it's Amazon, it's food, it's gas, it's
pizza delivery.
It's
everything. It's everywhere.
DoorDash.
Any purchase you make, buy now, pay later. The debt option is there.
People use it, for quote little things. I'm just going shopping. I'm just going to buy some jeans, and they're happy to show that to the world, right?
Yep.
But if I ask somebody, hey, show me all your buy now, pay later accounts, I bet you they would be embarrassed.
Yeah.
I bet you they'd feel ashamed because they know this is not a good way to spend money. This is
That's
not,
right.
I'm not being a good manager of my money to do this. And people wonder why they're in debt. They wonder why they're broke. They wonder why they're going paycheck to paycheck. This is it.
More debt is only going to stress you out. Step number 4, I'm going to need you to pay off any high interest debt with intention. Once debt starts to accumulate, it just becomes a headache. It becomes stressful. Debt is essentially emotional. High interest debt, it's going to steal your confidence. It's going to steal your happiness, your sleep at night, your time, and your options. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick one debt that you can currently work on right now to start to cut down. And I want you to focus on it aggressively. I shared this with my girls during challenge number 3 because they were asking about finances. And I told them there was a point in time where I had 2 credit cards and they totaled about $16,000, maybe $16 or $18,000. And this was a few years back. Now I have one credit card and I barely even have a balance on it just because I tend to not buy anything. I try and pay cash and I wanted to cut down my debt. I really stopped spending. When I tell you I stopped spending, I will only spend money on health, wealth, skills, God, like paying tithes. But I was saying, going back to my story, I had two credit cards at once and I was using it for shopping, I was using it for trips, I was using it for this, for that. And I just hated looking at my financial reports. I hated opening up my app and seeing that I owed or maxed out both of those cards. And it was so embarrassing because I would go out with my man and he pays for a lot of things. But there were occasions where I was like, oh, my credit card is maxed, so I have to use this card or I have to transfer to this card. And it was just so embarrassing. And just imagine you're getting ready to marry someone and they have tons of debt. They're not financially responsible. And so I started to cut down my debt. I started saying no to myself. I'm going to go on a trip. I don't need $2,000 worth of clothing. I'm going to go on a trip. I don't need to buy another designer bag here. I can say no and I can use what I currently have because obviously if you're going to spend so much money on these bags, they're going to last for so long. So why do you need the latest of everything? So I started cutting down my cards. And so if I put a lump of 3,000 or 5,000 on my card, I would call my bank and I would cut it off. And then I would keep doing that, cut it off. So that is my strategy that worked for me to get out of debt.
Okay, so here's 3 ways to uplevel your finances in 2026. The third one is most important, but also hardest to do. So step 1 in 2026, we've got to stop the Delulu spending and start living within our means. It's okay to skip that next vacation. It's okay not to have the latest skincare products. You will survive without that next handbag. Here's the thing, the patriarchy is going to tell you to invest in your insecurities, but I'm going to tell you to invest in assets instead. So take a look at how much money you make each month. About 50% of it should go towards your essentials, about 20 towards saving or paying down your debts. Step number 2 is you're going to start paying yourself first. That means having 6 months of emergency savings, paying down debt, and investing. You can look at your financial situation and go, that's not fair. I worked so hard. I want the money now. I want to help you reframe the conversation. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about giving your future self what you need. Your future self will thank you later for laying the groundwork. Step number 3 is the most important step of all. You need to rewire your brain so that you stop comparing yourself to other people. You look at other people wondering, how in the world can they afford that? Well, the truth is, most people can't. Around 50% of credit card owners are living off of debt. You don't need to be like them. It won't bring you happiness to be that stressed out. That's why you have to rewire your brain so that it's not normal to live outside of your means. I promise, if you do these 3 things, you will uplevel your finances in 2026.
Even if you're putting $500 or $1,000 on those cards, call them immediately, cut it off. Because if you let that money sit there and you have no self-control or discipline, you are going to spend that money immediately. Something's going to come up and you're going to totally forget that you needed to cut your balance down. And so that strategy has helped me truly get my balance all the way down to a minimal amount. That has totally helped me. And let me know if that helps you. I told my girls to do this, so I really hope that they have been implementing. When you put a lump of money on your card, call immediately and cut it off and start to use more cash. Also, there are skills that are going to provide you with more cash flow so that you can have more cash on hand and have to use your card less. Step number 6 is going to be invest, even if it is small. So my mom had opened up a few accounts for us when we were younger. So we started investing small amounts since the age, I would say, of 15 into private banks. However, when I was able to get my own bank, I think at 18, then I started with the very simple savings accounts that give you a very small return on your investments. So you have the tax-free savings accounts, you have the high yields accounts, you have the mutual funds accounts, you have stocks through the bank, and you can also do stock exchange through private banks as well. I am not here to tell you guys about what stocks I've invested in, or you do not need to be an expert to start saving or start investing though. And you can open up as many accounts as you like. That is the best thing about these banks. You can have so many different banks and you can forget about them just by you have one main bank that you just have an automatic transaction. I have an automatic payment to 5 different banks of $100, say. And that is going to allow you to forget about those accounts and not touch them. And your money is growing, it's investing, and you have other people invest your money where you need to. You can start as low as $50, $100, $1,000, $2,000. It is totally up to you. You can start this right now while you are reducing your debt. Remember, I said to focus on one debt that you would like to pay off first and work your way down from that. While you are paying off that one debt, and I'm sure maybe you have other debts going on, just focus on one, and then you can have small increments that go out to private banks or different banks that help you grow your money, and then eventually you'll have enough to pull from if you want to pay off certain things afterwards at a set amount of time. You don't need to be an expert to start investing. However, you do need to be consistent. Investing isn't about being rich already. It's about refusing to stay stuck and doing something about it right now. Small automatic contributions, they're going to be way better than waiting for the right time to start investing and start saving. Time is your secret weapon. How you use it for your advantage to level up your life. And the last tip here, you need to align your money with your identity.
How to lock in and get rich AF in 2026. Hi, my name is Nika, not Nike. Let's do it. As someone who locked in September and turned my life around in just 6 weeks, it is very much possible. And if you're still broke in 2026, it's not the economy's fault. It is yours. Let's go. Let's be honest to start with. Most people do not need motivation. They need discipline and financial education that our system doesn't teach us. Number one, decide 2026 is your year or just shut up about it. Okay? Hope is not a strategy. Commitment is. Commitment will change your brain chemistry. Number two, financial literacy is non-negotiable. Okay? If you don't understand taxes, leverage, if you don't understand cash flow, guess what? You'll be working for people who do. Number three, income first, passion later. I always say this, you need to follow your discipline and never your passion. Never. Okay, freedom comes from having discipline. Freedom comes from following income, and then you can follow your passion. 4, network like your life depends on it, because guess what? It does. And that's why I wrote the #1 book when it comes to networking, right there. Network like your life depends on it. Money moves through people, not ideas. Again, money moves through people, not ideas. This is why when you have a weak social skills, it will always cost you. Number 5, cut distractions like it's your enemy. Cut distractions like they're your enemies, because they are. Your phone, it's not neutral. It's still in your life in milliseconds. 6 is the greatest lesson I've ever learned from my mentor. He's a billionaire. And he taught me this. You have to turn your whole year into 4 years. That's what the wealthy do. They put 4 years into 1 year. That's Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. And I'll run it through. You get a pen and paper quickly. Q1, that's the foundation. You learn skills, sales, financial literacy, build income streams. That's from January till April. Next, Q2, expansion. Network aggressively. Okay? Increase visibility, raise your prices. Next, Q3, optimization. You cut the dead weight in your life. You do edit ruthless of your friend group, and you cut them out of your life if they're wasting their time and your time. Okay, I did that in September. Best thing I ever did. You delegate and you scale what works. And then Q4 is the most important. Q4 is when I turned my life around. So what exactly do we do in Q4? We stack cash, we reinvest, okay? We position ourselves for the next level. That's what I did. I turned my life around in 6 weeks. I started in September, and by December, honey. Next, your body is a business asset. I wish it wasn't true, but it is. Your appearance is imperative, okay? What does this mean? If you're undisciplined physically, you're undisciplined financially. Number 8, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. What does this mean? Every level of wealth requires you to understand how to take a lot of pressure. Expansion hurts like a mother freaker. You gotta get used to it. Number 9, stop explaining yourself. Winners do not explain themselves. This world belongs to the audacious, okay? They move quietly and they execute loudly. And last but not least, identity will always beat tactics. What does this mean? If you see yourself as average, your life will reflect that. If you see yourself as great, your results will obey that. Nobody's coming to save you, but that's good news. Because if you lock in right now, we're in December. If you lock in right now, guess what? 2026 will be amazing for you. I believe in you, and I pray you always believe yourself. Now, if you believe you're going to be rich AF in 2026, I want you to write rich AF below.
So I want you to ask yourself, who am I becoming in 2026? I had to ask myself, because I am getting married this year, I had to ask myself, who am I becoming? I wanted to become a financially responsible woman, wife, friend, coach, investor. I wanted to become more financially aware, financially knowledgeable, financially responsible. And it started with me looking at what I was always spending my money on. I've had a job since I was 15 years old. And I've bought so much hair. I've bought so much clothes. I always do my nails. And sometimes we just don't even look. We just tap, we just swipe, we just buy, we just spend. I wanted to become more responsible, and I also had to become more simple. My home now is so simple. My living room is simple, it's clean, it's minimalist. My bedroom, it's simple, it's bright. There's a lot of plants and white. It's just clean. I don't need new decor every season. I don't need fancy cups. I don't need this. I don't need that. And I had to just realize that if I want to become someone's wife, my man is older than me and makes way more money than me. But I also wanted to be a wife that didn't just get money from my man and does not know how to use it or spend it or invest it. A lot of people are out here looking for a provider. They're looking for a protector, a provider, a man who is generous. And you don't even know how to spend that money. You don't even know how to spend your own money. And it is so important when you do meet a man that is generous with his time, his resources, his money, that you know how to spend and make more money, right? Whether you're making it for yourself or you're making it for each other because you're a team. I wanted to be a wife that contributes. I wanted to be a friend that contributes, a coach that contributes. So now I'm able to do more for my clients because I save more than spending more. It's also the apps that I use for training and all of the things and resources that I use for my business that also cost money. So I had to just look at everything that I've been spending my money on in business and in personal and cut back and make bigger decisions. I have to start saying no in this area so I can put this money in that area for it to grow, for it to blossom. Overall, I wanted to become someone who is calm about money, someone who is prepared, someone who is generous. Your spending should reflect that version of you, not your old habits, not outside pressure, and not social media. I also had to stop following so many accounts that would push me to buy everything. They're promoting this dress, this. And as much as it looks so aesthetically nice, honestly, y'all, I live in a very boring, bland city. Nothing goes on here. And so my wardrobe does not need to be full. Like, as long as my body is banging, baby, I could put a paper bag on and people would be like, damn, well, who is she? That is enough. I don't actually need so many shoes, so many heels, Louboutins, designer bags. I don't need so much stuff. I don't need decor. I don't need food. I don't need to be at a restaurant every 2 days, every week. I don't need everything. I don't need so many subscriptions. I don't need much. I barely even need Netflix. I read a lot. So we put our Netflix subscription back on just to watch the show Beauty in Black. And we just put that on now, and I'm gonna cut it back off, because if it doesn't make me healthier, hotter, then I don't need to be spending my money on it. And that's just like $7.99, but I don't really care. $7.99 could add to something else. That's how I see my money. Every dollar is a vote for your future. You have to be so intentional about, just because this girl has it does not mean that I need it too. Because y'all, I had to unsubscribe to so many people on social media because they were doing home decor, luxury brands, clothing pieces, and I was like, girlfriend, you need to cut that out. You gotta unsubscribe to newsletters, unsubscribe to websites, any reminders of this, by that. All right. And when it comes to your food, y'all, because everyone's like, oh, eating, like grocery shopping or becoming healthier is expensive, please go to Costco. Fight your mother on this one. Go to Costco, because, or a farmer's market. Recently, I was looking at the chicken options at Costco, and we get the best quality. I don't mind spending money on quality. However, for the amount of chicken that my man eats in a month, honey, I am not buying this quality. It's not even good enough. So I went and found a farmer's market that locally sources their chicken, a healthier and cleaner process for the chicken. And it came out that it was cheaper. So you're going to these smaller grocery stores when you need to go find a farmer, a local farmer, or a farmer's market, or Costco. And that is going to be your cheaper options to eat healthier, clean, be able to grow your booty without breaking the bank. Alrighty, my love. So we covered 6 steps that I want you to work on. However, for the next 30 days, I have 7 things that I want you to work on daily. I'm going to start with day 1 all the way to day 7. Day number 1, I want you to look at every single account. No judgment, just awareness. Day number 2, I want you to track every single dollar you spend. So this is a 7-day week planner I want you to do every single week. On day number 3, I want you to cancel 1 unnecessary expense. Day number 4, this one is my favorite. I want you to set up 1 automatic savings or an investment transfer. And also, y'all, if you are not using Wealthsimple, my link is down below. Go and sign up. You guys should be using Wealthsimple. They have so many options for savings and earning interest on your accounts, depending on the account that you're opening for free. Day number 5, I want you to learn about 1 money concept that is going to make you financially wiser. Day number 6, no spending on wants. Day number 6 is usually like my Saturdays, my weekends. I usually plan 1 to 2 date nights or maybe a brunch date around this time to go out with my friends or my partner. And I make sure that I set aside money and budget myself for the weekend. So I'm not just saying yes to anything. On day number 7, this is when we rest, especially let your wallet rest unless you're tithing. We review and reset for the week. This may cause some small discomfort, but it will be a massive long-term payoff. Your future self is watching you, waiting for you, cheering you on to make better decisions that align with your dream life. I preach to you all the time, reminding you that your desires are not impossible. They just need structure, clarity, discipline, consistency, and faith. If you enjoyed this financial glow up video today, drop some comments down below, hit the thumbs up, maybe hype up this video, and I will see you in the next one. And summer is approaching, y'all, so we want to make sure that we are financially, physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally ready to say yes to our yeses and no's to our no's. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, y'all. I literally took half of the stress off. I was talking to my man about the New World Order. And I'm not trying to scare anyone, but I came across this video. Whatever is written to happen is going to happen. This is why you should just live intentionally now, but not on stuff, just on living a happier, hotter life. You can move, you can run, you can do things. And I feel like so many people, I don't know what it is, but so many people are so delusional or just trying to play as if they don't see what's going on in the world. And you have to be very mindful of the world. You have to be mindful of where it's going and the constant intention that is talked about every single day that we are probably ignoring. I'm not ignoring it. But I realized if the world were to shut down, I wouldn't be able to wear all these outfits everywhere. However, I would still be looking for a gym. I would still be training from home. I do have weights at home, tons of equipment. I would still be healthy, happier. I'm learning to grow food. All of these things that are going to help me to be able to survive and still take care of my mental and emotional well being if said thing, event, were to take place or happen. We don't know what the future holds, but that is why you really have to think about or just look at what you've been spending your money on. Does this add to you? Does it make you healthier? Does it make you happier? And I'm not saying material things are to make you happy, because a lot of people are looking for happiness in the wrong things, the wrong people, toxic dick, toxic things. And that is not true happiness. Happiness for me is going outside or seeing the sun, being able to breathe fresh air, going to the gym. Right now, I'm about to change. I'm going to the gym. We're training a leg day, getting finer, healthier, eating good food that doesn't give me bloating and I have a flat stomach and a fat ass. Like, that makes me happy. Those are the things that make me happy. God, spending time with Him and seeing that God always wants me in His company. It's just like, wow, God, no matter what I've done in my life and what I continue to do, because I'm not perfect, you still want my time. You still want me to come to you and rely on you. Those are the things that truly make me happy. And you really have to decide on what makes you happy and make sure that your finances align and make sure that how you spend your money aligns with that happiness. I really hope that y'all are not spending your money on a bunch of materialistic things that are not going to add value. No alcohol, no cannabis, no DoorDash, Uber Eats, none of that stuff, guys. It's not going to matter. And I also wanted to mention, because we were just breaking down our insurance policies and how much we spend on mortgage, how much we spend on insurance, and all of the things that add up, taxes. And by time you are done for the year, how much you've already spent paying interest rates, mortgages, insurances, all of these things that add up, and you're left with barely anything. That's why streams of income, they are really important, but also assets that build over time, and being wise with what you spend your money in currently right now. Always asking yourself, is this going to move me forward? And it's not too late to rewire your brain and to actually create your dream life. Stop thinking that it's too late, because it's not. But if you just think about how much money you spend on taxes back to the government, how much money you spend on taxes, how much money you spend on interest, how much money you spend on garbage, you need to be wiser with your thinking, your strategy plan for how you're able to keep more money than you make or than you spend. I feel like me growing up in the hood and also growing up with a single parent, she was an immigrant, she didn't know much. It's so important that we do spend some time educating ourselves as best as we can in different fields and sectors of our lifetime and not get caught up in the party, the boys. There are real men, grown men, that will also help to teach you these things. But it's also important that you set a standard for yourself, that this is who I allow in my circle, that I have, that benefit my life. You shouldn't just have people in your circle just because they can put your head in a pillow and talk to you some kind of way. You should have men in your life or people in your life that actually add value, knowledge, information, resources that are going to move you forward. And you should be able to do the same, right? I have friends that are older than me that are more financially knowledgeable than I am. However, I have information and knowledge and resources that they need to become healthier, happier, mentally, emotionally stable, that allows them to actually grow and function in their business, become stronger, able, and capable in their joints, in their strength as they get older. So there are many benefits. I bring in peace and they bring in financial knowledge, and they also pay me to help them as well. So there's always a trade. You need skills. You need as many skills as possible. The better you look, the better you feel, the more you tap into your knowledge and your wisdom, the better the outcome of your life. And it is never too late to start. And y'all just remember that these interests on materialistic things or credits or anything that you put buy now, pay later, interest adds up. Live below your means. I don't even think I mentioned this, but this is probably the main information that you need to know today. Live below your means. Your life will blossom. Do not try and keep up with social media or think that you need to live aesthetically a certain way to be found or valued on social media. I don't push products because I don't buy a bunch of products. I push my mindset and what I actually do in my day-to-day life to make my life better and my clients' lives better. I push my mindset. I push my knowledge. I push my wisdom. I only need to invest up here. Whatever I wear on the outside, I'm not pushing anybody to buy it, because you can put money aside to buy those items, but I'll never go broke for materialistic things ever again.